Theories of Motivation by Erika, Katie Yakin, Caitlin Karam, Maya Alalouf, and Sydney Cook. For this study, 4 students were interviewed about motivation. They were interviewed about a time of high motivation and low motivation. We found trends that represent the attribution theory and intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Alejandro is a full-time electrical apprentice and a part-time student. He was highly motivated when starting his new job and had low motivation when test taking. Jorge is a freshman at MSU who is highly motivated in his media editing class and has low motivation during ISS.
When the students perform poorly in a class they are highly motivated for, they do not attribute it to their ability. In the class they were not motivated for, they did attribute their failure to ability. Although in both classes, when they did well, they attributed it to ability. For both Jorge and Alejandro, when they perform poorly in a class, whether they are highly or lowly motivated, they can attribute their failure to their effort. The same applies for when they do well. However, both also claim that when they perform poorly in the class they are not motivated for, they attribute failure to be related to the task, situation, or how they were taught. They did not attribute failure to this in their high-motivated course. Overall, the students did not attribute their successes or failures to luck. The only situation that luck was taken into consideration for was when Alejandro did well in the class he was not motivated for. Overall, we determined that students attribute their successes or failures in a way that makes themselves feel good.
Maria is a freshman at MSU. She has high motivation in her sociology class and low motivation for ISS 210. Diego is also a freshman at MSU who feels highly motivated towards his substance abuse class and experiences low motivation in biology.
The 3 psychological needs that motivate a person are competency, autonomy, and relatedness. This corresponds with our data in that both students felt a sense of competency in the classes they were motivated for, but not in their low motivation classes. The same trend occurred for a sense of autonomy. However, the students did not feel relatedness in the class they were very motivated for because the class was online. This is one of the only contradictions to the theory. Another contradiction to the theory is that Maria was motivated to get a good grade, which is an external goal, in the class she is motivated for, but not in the class she is not motivated for. This is because she has such low motivation for the class that she doesn't even care about the grade. Neither students worked hard to make others proud or avoid feeling ashamed. This shows they are in the stage of identification, so they are taking their future goals into consideration. Lastly, both agreed they were genuinely interested in the class they were motivated for, which shows they had intrinsic goals. They were not interested in the low motivation class, which shows they had extrinsic goals.
In conclusion, we have found that our interviewed students complied to the attribution theory and the idea of extrinsic versus intrinsic motivation. The students attributed their successes and failures in a way that made themselves feel good. Typically, when the students performed well, they attributed their successes to their own ability or effort. When they performed poorly, they attributed their failure to an outside source. They did not attribute either their successes or failure to luck. Also, we determined that overall, students are motivated more when their psychological needs are being met. Generally, students have intrinsic goals and high motivation in classes they are genuinely interested in. Students have extrinsic goals and lower motivation in classes they are not interested in.
Thank you.